Welcome, everyone, to Full Count, Sports Memo's MLB betting coverage show, coming to you live every weekday, Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. We'll be covering baseball with some of the best handicappers, analysts, columnists, and bettors on the planet. We'll be giving out free picks on several games for today's card and plenty of time for you to take advantage of the information you receive and get down on them. I'm your host, world champion handicapper, Las Vegas's biggest daily sports bettor, Joe D'Amico. And joining me today and giving out today's winners, we've got a great panel. We've got the First Lady of Las Vegas, Dionne D'Amico, and we have the hardest working man in sports betting, John Ryan. Welcome, Dionne. Welcome, John.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to both of you. It's always a pleasure being on this show.
I love being with, it goes without saying that Dionne's my favorite person in the world, let alone my favorite person to work with. But, John, I want you to know, outside of my wife, who I've been with for 23 years, the biggest kick I get is sharing a screen with you. So this is a real treat for me, guys. I'm very excited. We have several roundtable games that each Dionne and John will be touching base on. Then we have the most exciting part of the show, the best bet segment. So without any further ado, our first game we're going to be covering in the roundtable segment will be Los Angeles at Houston, and Dionne is going to give you her opinion right now. Dionne, please.
All right. Well, the early money is coming in on the Angels, and why not? They've won 5 of the last 6. However, their last 2 series were against the Rangers and the Marlins, which are combined 6-12 right now. I know Houston dropped Sunday's game 7-2 to Seattle, and I also know it is the 6th time in their 9 games played this season that they've accounted for 3 or less runs. However, their pitching has been outstanding, ranking 7th overall in both leagues with the team ERA of just 3.22. These two teams have already played a series this season as the Astros took 3 of 4 from the Angels, outscoring them by a combined 20-9. Both starters today have had good outings already this season, but Los Angeles is just 4-11 the last 15 versus right-handed starters, 9-19 the last 26 versus the AL West, and 5-11 the last 16 versus teams with a winning record. The line is a little bit higher than I like to go, but a win is a win, so I'm going to go ahead and play Houston.
There you go. Sports fans, the First Lady of Las Vegas likes the Astros today. She's made a believer out of me. I'll tell you how big she's made a believer out of me. I married her. So I know she's made a believer out of you. Don't worry, you don't have to marry her, but you do have to follow her because she is a winner. Now we're going to go into our other great panelist today. He is the hardest working guy in sports betting. I call him the James Brown of sports betting, and he's also one of my favorite people in the world to work with. And I know he is kicking butt and taking names all over the leaderboards. Later on the show, he's going to tell you what he's been doing with those big 5% plays. But right now, John Ryan will be chiming in about the Los Angeles-Houston matchup. John, please.
Well, I really like the breakdown, Dionne, that you did for the Houston Astros here. The Angels are a hot team for sure, and why not? A lot of people had thought they were overvalued coming into this season. Ohtani and Trout together on the same team and healthy, although I don't think Trout is playing tonight. We have to double check that one. But, the Angels do come into this game with a lot of momentum, but they're on the road playing arguably the best team in the American League. I don't care if the record is 5-4. Guys and gals, it's 9 games. It's not even 10% of the season yet. And every single winning team that has ever won the World Series, guess what? They go through losing streaks. They really do. They can go 2-8. So I think Houston's just off to a rather sluggish start by their standards, but now going against a hot Angels team will certainly get their attention. And I agree with Dionne here. I think Houston is the side. The Angels are 13-33, losing 19 units per unit bet on the money line, facing teams that don't make mistakes. And what I mean by that is they average less than half an error per game in games played over the last 2 seasons. Houston is 23-7, folks, using the money line, facing American League teams that are scoring 4.9 or more runs per game in games played over the last 2 seasons. It all adds up to a play on the Houston Astros.
There he is, guys. He's not just one of the best technical analysts in all of sports betting. He is one of the hottest guys in the world. Now, John, your technical angles, I've been doing this for many years on many different brands, on radio, podcast, TV, print, and here now on the videos we do all over the internet. You're as good or better than anybody I've ever seen with those technical angles. And guys, he is red hot too. John, if I'm not mistaken, another big winner the other night, right?
Yes, in the NBA, we're 7-0 in the 5% max bets that I've done this season, and very grateful for that. Hitting 67% against the spread over the last 55 is certainly one of the best winning runs in the NBA I've had in the last decade. Thankful for that. So I'm in one of those grooves, and I hope the betting gods are not listening, Joe and Dionne. But if I was asked to pick a loser, I'd probably not be able to do it.
Well, I'll tell you what, John. You're running red hot, and we're happy to have you on the show today. Now, we do have 2 more games in the round table segment, sports fans. So, on our next matchup, let's talk about Cincinnati at San Diego. And although it's very tough, I want you to know it's a tough task, but she is certainly prettier than me and John. Let's go to the first lady of Las Vegas, Dionne D'Amico. She's going to tell us about the Reds Padres. Dionne, if you will.
Absolutely. It's hard to believe that just 10 games into the new season, the Cincinnati Reds are already on a 6-game losing streak. The team has the worst record in baseball at 2-8. Whether it be at the plate or on the mound, they have some of the poorest numbers in baseball. Their offense is averaging just 3.40 runs per game, while their team ERA is a shocking 5.57. In one of the most competitive divisions in baseball, the San Diego Padres are currently in 4th, however, have a 6-5 record. Well, baseball is about trends and streaks, and San Diego has taken 5 in a row at Petco Park overall, and 6 of the last 7 meetings. Things are going to go from bad to worse for the Reds as today's starters are heading into opposite directions. Nick Lodolo has plowed for 5 earned runs in his first outing, not making it past the 4th inning in last week's 7-3 loss to the Guardians. Sean Manaea, in his 2 starts this season, has pitched 13 innings, earning him a 1-1 record with an impressive 1.38 ERA. Between San Diego starter and Cincinnati's pitching, I am compelled to play the Padres on the run line here.
The first lady of Vegas says take the Padres on the run line. Dionne, really great angles in that game. And by the way, it's your angles that got me to propose to you. I want you guys to know, guys, she's got some great points there. You know, we've got different ways of looking at games, but still great handicappers, all successful. Dionne, John. Now, I'm anxious to see what John's got to say about this matchup. Mr. John Ryan, take it away, my friend.
Well, I'm sure glad I don't have any attractive angles that would get your attention, Joe, but that's pretty funny. Anyway, I'd like to break down Dionne quite a bit. I think undoubtedly you're on the right side of the equation. The Cincinnati Reds have been a dysfunctional franchise for many, many seasons. Their number 1 player now plays and bats 4th in the Philadelphia Phillies lineup. So they really don't have much left, and they've been struggling with their bullpen for season after season after season. San Diego, as you mentioned, is 4th in that division, and that is an incredibly hot division. Colorado's actually playing pretty darn well, but again, the Dodgers and the Giants are off to 7-2 starts and are tops in the National League. So it's almost a mirror image of last year right now in the NL West. But San Diego is a team, once they get Fernando Tatis Jr. back in the lineup, they could really, really make some noise here in this division. Not only getting to the playoffs, but actually having the potential to make a run. What I like in this game is that I think there is a likelihood, statistically speaking, we talk about regression. Well, this is progression, and the Reds are due. I mean, the Reds are statistically so bad that I think they're going to score runs tonight, but they're not going to score enough to win the game, but I think it's going to make it go over the total. So San Diego, over the last 2 seasons, is 60-38 when facing a team that's a good fielding team, averaging less than 0.6 errors per game on the season in games played over the last 2 seasons. And San Diego is also 75-40 when facing base running teams that are averaging less than half a steal per game. And that's usually the tendency now in the modern era of baseball, but it's still relevant. And that spans the last 2 seasons. And lastly, I have one more here for you. Cincinnati, 24-9 to the over, in large part because of their tremendous bullpen. I say that sarcastically. In games played in April over the last 2 seasons. So I am definitely on the over, and I like her side on San Diego.
There he is, ladies and gentlemen, John Ryan. Another great analysis, John. And by the way, You do have some angles I really do like, but I can't talk about it while my wife is on the show. I don't want to get her jealous.
That's a good thing. Good judgment.
Guys, we like to laugh on this show, on the Full Count Show, but you're getting solid content by documented leaderboard fixtures, the First Lady of Las Vegas and Mr. John Ryan. Now, sports fans, we have another game on the roundtable segment for you, and then we have our best bets segment. So let's go to our third game on the roundtable segment. Guys, we're going to be talking about Atlanta at Los Angeles, a marquee game. If I'm not mistaken, if I did my homework correctly, two of the winningest teams in the National League the last few seasons. I'm anxious to see what the First Lady and John has got to say about it. But as they say, John, ladies first. First Lady of Las Vegas, take it away, please.
All right. Well, this is one of the best matchups yet this season. Over the last 2 seasons, Atlanta and Los Angeles are the top 2 teams in the National League, as Joey did mention. The Dodgers are running red hot, winning the last 6 games coming in today's series opener. I understand that these 2 series were against the Twins and the Reds. However, both on the mound and at the plate, this team seems to be clicking on all cylinders. The Braves' hitting has been erratic, and their pitching has been some of the ugliest we've seen so far this month. Wainoa is making his first ever career start versus Los Angeles. Things don't look too bright for the young right-hander, who was roughed out pretty badly in his first outing, giving up 5 earned runs and 7 hits in just 3 innings in an 11-2 loss to Washington. Kershaw, who owns a 5-1 record with a 2.20 ERA in 12 lifetime appearances against Atlanta, is looking as strong as ever right now. The stats speak for themselves, guys. So go ahead and play the Dodgers on the run line, and you've got a good winner here.
Another run line play for the First Lady of Las Vegas. Yeah, great breakdown. I thought when I got together with you it was just for your looks, but you got a lot of brains too. And by the way, sports fan, we are together 23 years this summer, and I want you to know that Dean and I got together because of the situation that you currently see her and I in. She was known as one of the sharpest of all sports bettors in Vegas, especially particularly at the time. Sports betting wasn't very popular with the ladies. They didn't go to the sports books 20 some odd years ago. But we got together because I heard about her. We met up in a sports book one day. We got to talking. 23 years later, I'll tell you what, I'm glad I didn't meet her because she's a big part of the reason why I've had so much to say. And you ride her and go follow her at Sports Memo, and you'll be successful too. Take it down now to one of the best technical analysts in sports betting. John Ryan's going to tell you his take on the Atlanta-LA matchup. John, if you please.
Oh, I lost my train of thought there with all those proposals going on. That was very romantic. No doubt about it. Very romantic and very cool. But we have Kershaw, and there was great debate on last week on this last start. He threw 7 innings. He has a perfect game going, and Davey Roberts takes him out of the game. And a lot of people initially were thinking, like, why would you do that? Well, it's pretty obvious. Clayton Kershaw is not 25 years old. And even if he was 25, we are in the first 10 games of the regular season, and it's called April. The World Series, the last I checked, is late October into November sometimes. And I think at the end of the day, doesn't it look better on Kershaw's Hall of Fame career to have another World Championship in which he might be the MVP as opposed to getting a perfect game? I think he did the right thing. I have no doubt about it. I don't care if he had 70 pitches going into that next inning. It was time to take him out and make sure that Kershaw, with his back problems over the years, doesn't get into these cooler temperature games in April and May and have the same problem that has plagued him for many, many seasons. Otherwise, the records would be even more impressive. So, as Dionne said, Atlanta is not Atlanta right now. They're not the Atlanta team that we're used to seeing with the great bullpen and the great starting pitching. Moreover, they're averaging 3 runs a game when on the road, and they're not averaging that much more overall. You have Kershaw in top form, and the guy has, like so many veterans, and we've seen it so many times across the board, they reinvent themselves. He's throwing that, at 67 mile an hour, 12-6 curveball, which is basically a knuckle curve where you tuck the knuckle underneath. And that pitch is devastating right now. And he's only throwing 90, but when you have those off-speed pitches and you're hitting your spots, when he throws that 90 mile an hour fastball, it looks like 96 to the batters. and he's doing a great job keeping them off balance. And I think the bet here that I like the most, I can't lay the wood with the minus 210, but I like the over team total on the Dodgers because I think that lineup is going to score. They might score 10 runs on their own merit. So I also like the over in the game, but I like the over Dodgers team total a whole lot more.
There you go, sports fans. Before the show, I told you John Ryan's one of the best. And my good friend, and he is a good friend of mine, Pete Rose, said, it ain't bragging if you can back it up. And John Ryan just backed it up. Great analysis, John. I love it. I love it. I love it. So
Thanks.
we've gotten 3 takes on 3 games, guys, just to let you guys know. Both Dan and John like the Astros. Dan likes the Padres on the run line. John liked the over in that game. Dan likes the run line on the Dodgers. John said over on the team total of the Dodgers. He also said over in the game. Now, sports friends, this is the most exciting portion of the show where this isn't scripted. It's not something that, that we send out, say, hey, guys, you got to cover these games. Each panelist is going to tell you their best bets, and I do have a best bet myself today. But let's go to the best bet segment. And before Dionne and John or even myself give out our best bets, they're going to take a moment to tell you what they've got going on and what they're excited about tonight or the next few days on Sports Memo. Dan, if you could take it away with your hype, we're going to call it the hype, and then your best bet, please.
Absolutely. Well, actually, on both the NBA and the MLB boards today, I have isolated just one big winner for you today to start your week off with a huge payday. I have my NBA high roller. These are normally reserved for my personal clients that can bet $10,000 or more, but I have it posted right now over at Sports Memo for just $9 for $9 Monday. And for my best bet, guys, I look closely at the entire board today, and my best bet today is a game that we've already talked about. The Reds are playing some horrible baseball, and the way Chamonix is looking, I really like the Padres to get a big win here and start moving up the ladder on the NL West. So I'm going to go ahead and take San Diego on the run line.
There it is. Just like her husband, she kept that analysis very short and very sweet. Dionne, great analysis, great looks. Guys, go over to Sports Memo after this show. She said she isolated one game. I'll tell you what. On the entire card between NBA and MLB, you had probably 15, 16, 17 games. She's got one. She made a believer out of me. I know she'll make a believer out of you. We're going to go to John Ryan's best bet. And, guys, this show isn't going to be long enough to tell you his accolades and his streaks, but let him touch base on a couple that he's got going on because he is El Fuego. For all you people that aren't bilingual, that means on fire. John, tell us what you got going on and tell us your best bet, please, sir.
I think it reminds me of what I think the Prez or Teddy says, hotter than a Las Vegas summer afternoon. I guess that's pretty appropriate. But humbly said, we're now, as I mentioned, 7-0 in the NBA with 5% max bets. My models are setting one up for tomorrow's action. That'll be confirmed after tonight's games are done. We're rolling along with baseball, where we've talked so many times, the three of us, where a good year is not based on percentage; it's based on ROI, return on investment. I played 75% dogs over the course of a season. I've been doing it for 27 years. Not as long as Joe, I don't think, but maybe so. But that's how you make money in these money line sports, and hockey is the same way. You can't be doing minus 200 favorites day in and day out because, you're going to end up on the street with nothing. I'd rather go 50% or even 45% and make a little bit of money. You're not going to win these dogs that are plus 170 all the time, but I will have one that's up later, right after this show. I'm going to post it. It's backed by a system that is 27-6 and averages a plus 168 underdog bet. It's one of the best systems I have. It comes free with the pick. And again, like Dionne said and Joe said, it's $9 Monday, folks. So take advantage of the baseball, NBA for all three of us, and you'll be glad you did. So my free best bet for the show, and I'm not a Mets fan. I can't say I'm a Mets fan, but this is very objective. They are off to a tremendous start. They're number 2 in Major League Baseball, outscoring their opponents by 2.6 runs per game. That is right up there with the Dodgers and the Giants, who we talked about earlier. They also have McGill on the hill today, who has not allowed an earned run yet. And he In his last start, he did not allow an earned run to an offense that I think is going to be one of the best in the National League in the Philadelphia Phillies. And who could argue that point? They're off to a slow start, but I mean, it is a marathon. But I think this matchup with San Francisco tonight, traveling to the East, taking on the Mets. Weather could be an issue in this. It's going to be about 45 degrees at game time. We're just having a little cold front blow through here in the East. But I think the Mets are the play, and they'll get it done over the San Francisco Giants tonight.
John Ryan just take the Mets for his best bet. John, I agree with you. This is a team that, and I'm not a Met fan either. Being a Yankee fan, if the Yankees are out of it, I'm always going to root for the Mets, or if I bet on them myself. But you made some great points. You made a believer out of me. And John also gave you some nuggets of sports betting wisdom, sports fans. You got to be stingy. And you're right. ROI is the bottom line. The bottom line is the amount of money. Doesn't matter how much you win, how many games you win. It's about how much money at the end of the day, the week, the month, the season you put in your pocket, guys. And I've got to tell you, yes, these big game and big name and high price teams are good teams. They're not laying $2.70, $3.25, even $4 because they're crappy teams. They're laying because they're good teams. But if you drop a $2.50 favorite, 3 net winners to get back in the plus column. Be stingy. Keep your money where it belongs, in your pocket. Don't worry about betting every game on the board. You know what we got to worry about? What we worry about when we're not sports betting. Money in our pockets, paying our bills. And you make a good living being stingy. Be dollar smart. Do you buy a car? Do you take the first offer from a car salesman? If it's a little high, walk away. You'll find another car salesman. Shop a number. Be smart. But honestly, I know Dionne preaches it. What's your number, Dionne, where you don't like to go above? In baseball, like $1.40. John, I'm like you, man. I don't care if Koufax is on the mound. I don't care if the 27 Yankees have Murderers Row on the lineup. I like to keep my money where it counts in my pocket. So when you pick your sports in a very long season, 162 games, regular season, 30 teams, you got 12, 13, 14, 15 games, 5-6 days a week in this sport. Be stingy. If you don't find something you love today, you'll find it tomorrow. But be smart. You don't have the time, the resources, the energy, or the background to do what the great collection of cappers do over at Sports Memo. That's why you come to us. You go to a stockbroker to tell you what stocks to buy and when to sell them. Go to the best cappers on the planet. Do the same. Now, I do have a best bet for today's show, if I may, guys. It's so hard to get time with you two guys, but I'm going to put myself in the forefront, my friends. Let me start by saying, together today, you and I are going to start off the week by going 3-0. I have 2 NBA, 1 MLB winning plays for you, 11-2. My NBA Las Vegas strip move, my 4-1, the last 5 slam dunk plays, along with my 43-12 MLB best bet. Each are available right now at Sports Memo, just $7 a piece, or you get all 3. I have a Monday 3-pack. Guys, this is my way of saying thank you to you for buying me every day a 3-pack, 3 big winners, MLB, NBA, $20. Now, let's go into my best bet for today. My friends, a game we already touched upon on the show. Guys, the Angels might be streaking right now, but look at their opposition in the 2 series the Marlins and the Rangers. This team is 6-2. I get it. And I'm not trying to be comical, but that's like saying you're the smartest guy in special ed class. It doesn't matter your wins and losses. It matters who you're playing and beating. And my friends, you can combine both Miami and Texas, and you still won't be able to field a team that's 500. They played Houston in the season opening series, and their pitching got shredded by the Astros bats. Their lineup got decimated by the Astros pitching. Mike Trout, as John said in the beginning of the show, we don't think he's playing as of doing the show. The last I checked, he is doubtful, but this is going to make things more difficult, without a doubt, by LA. A player of his caliber, it's certainly going to affect the team. By the way, this team has never showed any consistency. Case in point, 4-10 the last 14 following a win, and they're horrible in season openers. 2-8 the last 10 during game 1 of a series. I'm going to take Houston here, sports fans. It's a little bit higher than I like to go, but a win is a win, and a win is a win, like my wife said. And you don't pay juice on a win, $1.48. We're going to take that. Let me bring everybody back on because we're going to sign off in a minute. Dionne, any closing thoughts or comments?
Yeah, as you can see, great minds think alike because all 3 of us came in with Houston today.
Uh-oh. Now I'm worried. But you know what, John? There's a reason why you, me, and Dan have been so successful for so long. We all agree. So I'll tell you what, sports fans, follow us there. John, any closing thoughts or comments?
Just start using the live in-game betting too to get better value. For example, the Dodgers are minus 210 tonight. Kershaw in his career when he gives up runs, they're usually in the first, second, or third inning, early part of the game. So if they would get out to a lead, that's where you take advantage of it. You buy low, you sell into the strength, and especially in the NBA games tonight, you'll see it time and time again, folks. Teams will go on a 10-point streak, timeout. That's the time to bet the other team, especially if you like the other team. So I have that plastered all over the show. So take advantage of looking at those, and best of luck to everyone tonight.
Well, sports fans, nuggets of sports betting gold from the First Lady of Las Vegas, Dionne D'Amico, John Ryan, the hardest working guy in sports betting, myself, Joe D'Amico. My friends, be sure to tune in every weekday, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 3 p.m. Eastern, to this show. Full Count, SportsMemo MLB betting coverage show, coming to you live with special guests each and every day. And guys, this is Joe D'Amico on behalf of Sports Memo, the First Lady of Las Vegas, Dionne D'Amico, John Ryan. Good luck and have a winning day.